Hi, welcome. My name is Trisha, and I am going to offer probably about a 25 to 30-minute series that will help relax and ground you during this chaotic time. As you can see, I'm not sitting on a traditional yoga mat. This is more of a cushioned mat. It's a shiatsu mat that I use when I know I'm not going to be standing on my feet. So today, during this series, we will not be doing any standing poses. We will be either seated or reclined during the entirety of the series. So if you want a little more cushion under you, feel free. I also have a blanket and a strap, so we may be using those. You might just want the blanket for the Shavasana at the end of the series. So whatever you might need, go ahead and grab them and put them alongside the mat. That way you won't have to get up and retrieve them should you need them. So we will get started, remembering that I am your guide for the series, but your body is a better guide. So always use your body as kind of the go-to intuitive sense. That's what I want you to pay attention to. If something doesn't feel right, back out of the pose gently and come back to center and breathe. So we're going to start in a comfortable seated position. You'll notice I have a bolster under my hips because it helps me sit in a lotus position that's a little bit more comfortable. When I don't have it under my hips, I tend to strain a little bit more. So if you've come to my classes, this is probably sounding like a broken record, so I apologize about that. But point being, when I say find yourself in a comfortable position, I really mean it. I don't want you to sit and feel like you're struggling. So if you need to have a stool or something under your hips, go ahead and grab it. So we'll come into center, take some deep breaths, and close the eyes. You're coming into your center, breathing into center. If you don't really know what breathing into center means, don't worry about it. Just deep breathe, take in as much oxygen as you can, and on the exhale, exhale fully and completely. So maybe the exhale will be just a little bit longer than the inhale. In through the nose. And when you start, you can go ahead and breathe out through the mouth, knowing that the ultimate goal is to breathe in and out the nose. That calms the system. So if you need to take some audible exhales when we start, feel free, because that helps get some of that residual and tension and stress out of the body, or constant stress out of the body. So deep inhale, audible exhale. Let's do that a couple more times. Breathe in. Exhale at the mouth. One more time. Out the mouth. Now see if you can make that transition to in the nose, out the nose. So bringing some small movements into the shoulders and the hands and the head and neck. Keeping the breath going deep and steady. Exhales complete. Coming back to center. On the next exhale, I want you to bring your chin to the chest, stretching the back of the neck, letting the head hang heavy. Inhaling the head back to neutral. Exhale fully and completely. Big inhale, taking a look to one side. a cervical rotation as you do that. Just be the observer of your own body and your own being. No judgment here, please. Non-judgment zone. Coming through center, inhaling. Exhaling to the opposite side, head turning, cervical rotation. Not straining to get it anywhere, just seeing where it goes. Back to center, inhale. Chin to chest again, head bows forward. Trying to keep the back straight, shoulders where they are, just let the head move. And then inhaling back to center, rolling the shoulders back. Taking them up to the ears to remember where we don't want them, and then let them fall back down. Scapula or shoulder blades sinking down the back, melting down the back. So we're going to take that root energy center, which is at the base of the spine. It feels that pull towards the earth, that gravitational pull. And taking the crown center up to the heavens. So those opposite points, the root and the crown, and then think of that line of energy between them, staying long throughout the series. Even when we're lying down, you want to try and keep that elongated energy line. That's the Hara line, and that line is the major energetic line of our being. It is connecting us, earth to heavens, root to crown, base of the spine to crown of the head. Right? So inhale, lifting through the crown, sinking in through the root. Exhale, still feeling that nice long line of energy. Taking your hand down to the side, opposite arm up, inhaling, reaching with that energy line, taking a side stretch. Holding on to it, using that hand as a base, a stabilizer. Keeping the chest lifted, crown lifted. Don't crunch up that shoulder to the ear. Through center, other hand down, lifting that other arm up. Take that position first. Inhale, lift. Up and out of the waist, taking the side stretch to the opposite side. Bend that elbow if you need more of a stretch. Coming through center, inhaling, opposite side again. Side stretch. One more time. This time coming through center, hand on opposite knee, hand behind you as we rotate gently through the spine from root to crown. Looking behind you, behind that shoulder. If you feel pain in the neck, bring the head back to a neutral position. Coming through center, rotating to the other side. Coming back to center, inhaling the arms up high, palms face behind you, dropping the palms to the shoulder blades. Reaching up with the elbows, keeping the chest lifted. Feeling a stretch in the triceps. Triceps go from the elbow and have 3 heads that attach at the top into the shoulder joint. Hands come back up, bringing prayer hands to the heart. Take a big inhale. And on the exhale, bowing down, this time allowing the head and shoulders to bend forward. Inhaling back up. Interlacing the fingers, pressing the palms forward. So stretching out the palms and the fingers. This is a great thing to do just when you're sitting at your desk or you're feeling like you've been hunched over too much or your hands feel a little cramped, push those palms out. Every once in a while throughout your day, try and get in the habit of that. It will really help. Bring the prayer hands to the heart, interlace, rolling the wrists. Taking the hands down, one more deep breath in. Big audible exhale throughout out the mouth. Nice. So we're going to shift positions here, taking the support out under the hips if you have it there. I'm just going to put this at the top of the mat so it's there if I need it. We're going into child's pose or balasana. Hands are reaching forward. Hairline on the mat. Go ahead and stay in the position. You want lots of points of contact in this series because we're trying to remind the body how connected it is to the earth. When we connect front side down in particular to the earth with this child's pose or balasana pose, it really helps absorb some of the tension. When we have the front open to the world, sometimes it can be a little harsh. So taking that child's pose, you can open the knees so that your stomach can fit in nicely and you can get that much closer to the earth. If that doesn't work for your skeleton, you can keep the knees together, but if you can open those knees, heels right under the sits bones, taking that position and taking a few breaths here. Breathe into it. Staying in the pose. As you inhale, feel the expansion of the rib cage and the lungs. The back will raise. And as you exhale, you'll feel the opposite, the contraction of the rib cage, the compression of the lungs as the air comes out, and repeat. Couple more breaths here. I'm going to show you a modification. If your knees are a little funky, you can take a rolled up towel blanket, or I like to use my bolster. And notice it gives a little bit of lift to the hips. So that's another option for you if child's pose is a little funky. Now we're going to keep the hips stationary, walking the hands to one side. So you're going to get lateral flexion of the spine and a nice stretch on one side body. Remember, breathing deeply the entirety of this series. The breath, the deep breaths, full exhales are really going to help with that grounding and relaxation. Coming through center to the other side. And I'm going to have you keep those forearms relaxed down, because this is not about the body working as much as it is the body relaxing and sinking into the poses. Coming back through center, dropping the elbows down, reaching for the shoulder blades again. And returning the forearms back down, palms down onto the mat. Coming up onto the forearms and the knees, the head relaxing down, and rotating the hips side to side, circling side to side, front to back, whatever feels good. You can bring some range of motion into the head and neck as well. And then we're going to sink back into child's pose. This time arms come alongside the body and relax there. Bringing some movement into the fingers and wrists, rotating the wrists if that feels good. And then letting everything relax down. Arms can reach forward again. We're going to come down onto the front side of the body. One ear can turn onto the mat. We're going to take the toes in and the heels out and have one ear on the mat, so you're rotating the head to one side. Taking some deep breaths in here. Again, finding yourself really stressed, front side of the body down to the earth is a great way to go. Taking some of that tension and releasing it into the earth. And I'm going to have you stay in this position and on and in breath. Rotate the head to the other side, opposite ear on the mat. Deep breaths, deep breaths. Feel the rise and fall of the back as you turn your head once again, opposite ear. This time we're going to bend the knees, feet to the ceiling, open the knees just slightly, and bring some range of motion into the feet and ankles. I think I hear my doggy's going to come soon and pay us a visit. Marley Sue likes to make an appearance on the yoga videos. All right, so now we're going to take the head and turn it the opposite way. And while we do that, windshield wiper the lower leg side to side. Rotating the head once again. So this next position or pose is going to be not going to be comfortable for everyone. If it doesn't work for you, then just bring the legs back to center and let the lower legs relax down. If this works for you, you're going to open the knees, bring the soles of the feet together, and then let them relax. So it's going to be a huge inner thigh stretch, groin stretch. It's going to get into the sits bones attachments as well. And then bringing the feet back up towards the ceiling, knees come back to neutral, and a little more side-to-side action with the lower legs. And then let's flex the feet, heels towards the sits bones. And then relax the legs down. Turning the head once again. Head comes back to neutral here. We're going to take the arms out in front of us just to feel that shoulder stretch. Hands come to underneath the shoulders, and on an inhale, lifting the head and shoulders up into a baby cobra pose. Notice my legs are down, my feet are down on the mat. I'm engaging those thighs. Take a breath in. And then slowly come back down. Opposite ear on the mat, arms alongside the body. Doing that one more time. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Head comes to neutral on an inhale, lifting. Not a lot of pressure on the hands, just a little maybe to help lift you if you need it back down. Opposite ear on the mat, relax. Coming back to neutral with the head, we're going to take a little bit of a turn here and turn onto our backs. So you're on your back now. Arms alongside the body. We're going to take that right leg right knee up to the right shoulder. Interlace grip on top of the shin, wind removing pose. This is an active arm pose, but today we're just going to let the arms relax. Don't worry too much about engaging everything. Just bring that knee up, pull it towards the shoulder. Eventually, knee and shoulder will touch. Taking the foot of the bent knee and the range of motion with that foot and ankle, stretching out the toes, the metatarsals, and the ankle and the lower leg muscles. Releasing that leg down, taking a breath in center. Audible exhale is fine there. Then let's take the left knee up on an inhale. Same thing, pulling it in towards the shoulder, using some pressure but not super big contraction here, just guiding it towards the shoulder. Eventually the knee and shoulder will touch. You're also compressing the hip flexor on that, so you're shortening and squeezing out the energy, or the blood and energy in that muscle when we compress it. Taking some range of motion in the left foot or the opposite foot. I'm trying not to say left and right because sometimes I screw it up. So as long as you're doing both sides equally, you're good. So then when we release that leg down, that hip flexor muscle right at the crease of the hip comes back to a neutral position, and there's a lot of blood flowing in there. So that's a good thing right there. Now we're going to take both knees up to the chest, the third part of wind removing. Hug around the lower legs if you can. In an ideal world, it is opposite elbows, hands on opposite elbows. If you can't get that, maybe opposite forearms, wrists, interlaced fingers. So I lift my head to get a nice compact, tight ball here. But then I let my head relax down. So this is the third part of wind removing pose, compressing the transverse colon on this part. The first part, the right leg compresses the ascending colon, the left leg compresses the descending colon, and this part compresses the transverse colon. Deep breaths into the pose. Releasing the arms down, we're going to put the feet on the mat, and the feet are about hip width apart, arms alongside the body. Feel that position, and then we're going to let the knees open as the soles of the feet come together. So goddess pose or reclined Baddha Konasana. Just allow the hands, palms up, relaxing the arms and shoulders down, head down. Then we're going to keep that left leg where it is. Take the right leg and extend it out. So that left sole of the foot is going to touch the inside of the right leg. So we're in a reclined tree pose. So like if we were in tree pose, we're going to flex that right foot, prayer hands to the heart, inhale. And on the exhale, if it works for your body, taking the arms up into branches, and then let that right foot relax. If you need to bend the elbows a bit to relax the arms, you can. If the branches don't work for you, you can bring your hands back to prayer and even relax them down alongside the body. So you're getting an external rotation in that left hip. Breathing deeply. Let's bring the soles of the feet back together. Remember, in this reclined Baddha Konasana or goddess pose, you can always put blankets or blocks under the legs if it causes your hips any pain, because this is a big hip opener. So we're going to take the other side of reclined tree, taking the left leg out, right foot inside the left leg. Now you can have it at the lower leg. On this pose, you can have it at the knee because you're not going to be pressing against the joint, or the upper thigh, depending on your flexibility and your comfort. Breathing into any resistant areas, any areas of discomfort. Think of sending the breath there. It's really a good thing to do. Your brain will obey. Send blood and energy there. So again, if you want to flex that left foot while you bring prayer hands to the heart, inhale, maybe growing branches up high. Then let that left foot relax. If the arms are comfortable overhead, go ahead and leave them. If they're not, bring them through prayer, down, palms up alongside the body. Nice. Now we're going to take that right leg and extend it out. So we're reclined on the mat in corpse pose here. Now we're going to take the knees, bend the knees up. Knees come to the chest. This time we're going to hug behind the knees. Feet can go up towards the ceiling. And then if you want to assist the stretch and you have the flexibility, you can take the hips off the ground and get a good stretch. So you're not really, you can take it into a shoulder stand if you'd like to, but just let those hands support the hips if your hips are off the mat. Knees coming towards the face, feet towards the top of the mat. If that position doesn't work for you, then just leave the knees towards the chest. And if you're up in that other position, bring the knees down, knees to the chest. Arms are going to go out to the sides, not too high because that will engage the shoulder muscles, but down to the side comfortably. Taking an inhale. And on the exhale, you're going to take the stacked knees and roll them to the right. And again, support under that leg, that right leg works fine. I want you to be comfortable in this position. So we're getting a deep rotational stretch here. Head is neutral, and then if you want more of a complete rotation of the spine, you're going to look to the opposite side of the way the legs are going. So I'm looking to the left, my stacked knees are going to the right, and that will complete the spinal rotation. Any pain in the neck, just come back to neutral. Breathing into it. Head comes back to neutral. Knees come back to center, taking a breath in center. And then taking the stacked knees to the opposite side if it feels good, looking to the right if your knees are going to the left or your legs are going to the left. So we're twisting, rotating the spine and twisting through the torso, so we're getting some good compression of some of the vital organs. And that's going to stimulate more blood flow to the organs as well. So blood comes, oxygen comes, energy comes. That's a good thing. Head comes back to neutral, taking the knees back to center. Just enjoying that position. Feet come down, stretching the legs back out. Inhaling the arms up overhead, stretching the body in both directions. And then the arms float down as we come back to neutral. And we're just going to go into, you're going to go into a Shavasana pose here, or corpse pose. We'll take Shavasana here at the end of the series. Deep breaths, full and complete exhales, closing the eyes. So you want to keep your eyes closed to avoid the visual stimulation. Palms are up, that means an open heart. Heels together, feet fall open. You can grab your blanket and cover yourself if you choose. Breathing deeply and enjoying the stillness and the silence. Bringing some movement slowly into the fingertips, toes, palms and ankles as your awareness comes back to the physical surroundings, physical body. Remembering you don't want to bolt out of Shavasana pose or corpse pose. You want to bring yourself back gently. Roll to your right for a couple of breaths, so rolling into the right, knees bent. And then rolling up to a comfortable seated position. Couple of breaths here. Taking note of the heart line, the root center sinking into the earth, the crown reaching to the heavens. Taking the palms together, rubbing them together, creating a bit of heat, and placing one hand on top of the other onto the heart center, right between the breasts. Keeping the eyes closed or cast downward for a few breaths here. Shifting hands into prayer position, deep inhale, and on the exhale, bowing down, honoring this practice today, this short series that you did for your well-being, your self-care, your groundedness. The divine light and love in me bows to and honors the divine light and love in all of you always. May love guide your way. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you feel more grounded, more peaceful, more centered. And if you can take that out into the world, that's a beautiful thing. For more videos, please go to my website, triciaschwaba.com, TRICIA. schwaba.com, and you'll find more yoga videos and self-care videos. Take good care of yourself in this very tumultuous time. Breathe deeply and love the world up.